Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Russian President Vladimir Putin says there is light at the end of the tunnel in Russia-US relations. Adds that Russia was discussing joint projects with the United States in the Arctic and in Alaska. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba reaffirmed their commitment to security cooperation between the two neighboring nations. Prime Minister Modi highlights the reforms in India's space sector as India celebrates the National Space Day. Prime Minister says space technology is increasingly becoming a part of governance in India. And Khelo India Water Sports Festival concludes in Kashmir, Srinagar. Madhya Pradesh leads the medal tally. Prime Minister Narendra Modi marked the National Space Day, highlighting India's leap from Aryabhatta to Gaganyaan. He said that space reforms and startups are powering India's new dreams with ambitious plans for a human space flight and India's own space station. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya has this report.
India's tryst with the stars is now a story of courage, innovation and boundless possibilities. Marking National Space Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the theme Aryabhat to Gaganyaan, ancient wisdom to infinite possibilities. Recalling his conversation with Group Captain Shubhanshu, Prime Minister Modi said he saw the limitless dreams of new India's youth. India today stands at the forefront of breakthrough technologies.
आज भारत सेमी क्रायोजेनिक इंजन और इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोपल्शन जैसी ब्रेक थ्रू टेक्नोलॉजी में तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है। जल्द ही आप सब वैज्ञानिकों की मेहनत से भारत गगनयान की उड़ान भी भरेगा और आने वाले समय में भारत अपना स्पेस स्टेशन भी बनाएगा।
The Prime Minister underlined that in the last 11 years, reforms have transformed India's space sector, opening unprecedented opportunities for young scientists, entrepreneurs and startups.
आज स्पेस टेक भारत में गवर्नेंस का भी हिस्सा बन रहा है। फसल बीमा योजना में सैटेलाइट बेस्ड आकलन हो, मछुआरों को सैटेलाइट से मिल रही जानकारी और सुरक्षा हो, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट हो या पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान में जियो स्पेशियल डेटा का इस्तेमाल हो। आज स्पेस में भारत की प्रगति सामान्य नागरिकों का जीवन आसान बना रही है।
Currently valued at $8.4 billion, India's space economy represents 2% of the global market. With ambitious targets of $44 billion by 2033, the sector is set to be powered by private participation. Already, nearly 350 startups are working across the ecosystem, with the government encouraging the rise of 5 unicorns in the next 5 years.
आज स्पेस डे के दिन मैं देश के स्पेस स्टार्टअप से कहूंगा, क्या हम स्पेस सेक्टर में अगले 5 वर्षों में 5 यूनिकॉर्न खड़े कर सकते हैं?
From Mars to the Moon and now towards Gaganyaan, India's journey in space mirrors the spirit of a nation determined to push boundaries and inspire the world.
India's space sector is soaring. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a clarion call to the space sector to make sure that they have more than 5 unicorns in the country in the next 5 years. And the private sector are leaving no stone unturned to make India a major behemoth when it comes to the space sector economy. With cameras and Uttam, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for TD India from Delhi.
ISRO Chief V. Narayanan lauded the development of India's space sector. He said that one of the major recent achievements is sending one of our Gagan Yatris to the International Space Station.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, who is a visionary leader, and our Minister, who has given directions and guidelines to carry out the space activities. It was Honorable Prime Minister who named the spot where the Chandrayaan-3 landed as the Sivasakti point, also declared 23rd August as the National Space Day. One of the major achievements is the sending our own Gaganyatri to International Space Station, ISS. And it was again Honorable Prime Minister who was to be thanked. It was his idea that before sending the Gaganyatri through our rocket, we should send one of them to the International Space Station. And his vision led to a great success today. And Suklaji has gone to the space station and come back safely.
Earlier, Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh held an informal interaction with astronauts for India's first human space mission, Gaganyaan. That's Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Group Captain Prashant Balakrishnan Nair, Group Captain Angad Pratap and Group Captain Ajit Krishnan. They shared valuable inputs related to their training program as well as future events in the run-up to the Gaganyaan takeoff scheduled for 2027. And after this event at the Bharat Mandapam, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla went to the Nehru Planetarium where he inaugurated the Aryabhat Gallery. The gallery is named after the legendary Indian mathematician. It commemorates India's journey into space. Shubhanshu Shukla's participation underscores the importance of the event in inspiring the public and future generations. The gallery serves to showcase India's cosmic journey from early pioneers to modern space missions like the International Space Station.
I've been talking about this since the time I went to space and I came back. I think it was a lifetime experience for me personally. But when I went to space, I was totally disconnected from everything that was happening here, back home. We did not have access to the internet and we did not know what is happening. But when I came back and I saw the excitement that was going on in the country, my friends who traveled with me, one from Hungary and one from Poland, there was a lot of excitement for their countries as well. They were getting some messages. And when I came back and I showed what is happening here, they were kind of mesmerized. I'm so happy and so proud of all of you for showing so much of interest for this mission and space exploration in general.
With over 3 decades of innovation, Avantel has emerged as a leading technology-driven company delivering cutting-edge solutions in aerospace and defense. From wireless and satellite communications to digital signal processing, embedded systems and software development, Avantel's expertise spans across critical technology domains, all built to meet stringent military standards. In an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent Tapush Bhattacharya, the general manager of the company, Raghavinda, spoke about the company's journey, its pioneering role in strengthening India's strategic capabilities and how indigenous innovation is powering the nation's march towards self-reliance in defense technology. Take a listen.
General Manager of Avantel is here, and you guys work almost every field, everything that is there to be done in terms of communication. You guys do. It's not a startup. It's a fully grown company. But one thing that I wanted to tell you, and in fact this is for all of our viewers, that these people work very closely with Indian Armed Forces, isn't it right, sir?
You are very right. So we are in multiple domains: land, air, space, and even water as well. Okay. Yeah. So that's actually our portfolio to say on the top level. And you're very rightly said, like from the last 30 years, we are in the Indian industry. It's a listed company, to be adding to your point. It's really doing good. and we have a lot of IDES projects which we are doing. Like we are doing 5 IDES projects already, which is saturated. Now we are going to go for the next ones once we are done with this. Yeah.
All right. I also wanted to ask you, you guys provide cutting-edge technology to the Indian Navy. How's that experience? And we saw the whole gamut of space economy, space sector change in the last decade under Prime Minister's vision. How do you see that change? Because you saw the earlier part, a lot of people may not know how things were, let's say 10, 15 years earlier. You have seen that, and now you're seeing the change that is happening, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. So if you just go back 20 years ago, you can see the differences from there to now. Earlier, the access to the space was very restricted to the private agencies like us, just to say. But with the new, the government and the norms what has been put by the governments, now we have a very good access directly to the space and the space industries. And the collaborations between the space industry also has grown, be it by the academias or the space industries like us, the startups or anything like that. So it's creating a very good ecosystem for as an India to grow, and I believe we can grow beyond the skies and the space.
You mentioned we can go beyond the skies. Prime Minister gave a clarion call for 5 unicorns in the next 5 years. Do you believe that you guys are almost there?
I believe so. Yes, there are a lot of things which we are doing, and I can also say that the peer competitors are also really doing good. It's a very friendly competitions what we have, and also if you see, it's no longer a competition. Like I can say it as a competition, but it's no longer a competition. It's like a collaborative work what we are doing. Even say for example, any companies in this arena itself, they are our partners. Yes. We are growing together. Yeah.
So you heard the man stating that India's space sector has changed dramatically, and Avantel and all the other startups are working to make sure that India is there, right there at the top of the scale when it comes to India's space sector and space economy. With camera person Uttam, this is Tapash Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
And still to come up on DD India Live, Dr. S. Jaishankar calls the US imposed tariffs as unjustified and unreasonable. North Korea honors its soldiers killed in the fighting in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And UN Human Rights Office calls for ending impunity in violence against Rohingyas in Myanmar.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Saturday said that the tariff issue was being wrongly presented as an oil dispute. Speaking at the Economic Times World Leaders Forum, Jaishankar noted that the same criticism leveled at India for purchasing Russian energy had not been applied to larger importers such as China and the European nations.
The same arguments which have been used to target India have not been applied to the largest oil importer, which is China, has not been applied to the largest LNG importer, which is the European Union. When people say we are funding the war or putting money in the coffers of Putin, India-European Union trade is bigger than India-Russia trade. So is American money not, European money not putting money into Putin's coffers?
Jaishankar also said that India's priority is to protect its farmers and small producers, stressing that New Delhi will not compromise on their interests.
In the negotiations, we have to be clear as to red lines by definition are lines to be maintained and defended. Keeping that in mind, see what we get. And frankly, where we are concerned, the red lines are primarily the interests of our farmers and to some extent of our small producers. So when people pronounce that we have succeeded or failed or, where are you? The bottom line is, my counter question is, we as a government are committed to defend the interests of our farmers and our small producers. We are very determined on that. That's not something which we can compromise on.
On India-US ties, Jaishankar said the talks were ongoing despite the tensions.
President Trump's way of dealing with the world, even dealing with his own country, is a very major departure from the traditional orthodox manner of doing so. I'm just giving you some examples. Say, the applications of tariff in this manner, even for trade, is novel. The application of tariffs for non-trade issues is even more so. The fact that a lot of this is said in public, often the first pronouncement is in public, is even more unusual. So this is a situation which the entire world is facing. Now, where we are concerned, I think we have at this moment three issues. First of all, trade, and I think, in my mind, that's really the major issue in terms of the negotiations which are underway.
The UN Human Rights Office called for ending impunity in the violence against the Rohingya people in Myanmar and ensuring their rights to security, citizenship and equality. Speaking at the UN press briefing in Geneva, Jeremy Lawrence, who is the spokesperson for the Human Rights Office, urged the international community to step up support for Rohingyas by increasing humanitarian funding.
Amidst a global funding crisis, Rohingya in both Myanmar and Bangladesh are enduring dire conditions compounded by drastic cuts to food assistance. We implore the international community to step up support for the Rohingya by increasing humanitarian funding to secure access to basic needs and essential services, to resolutely support international accountability processes.
South Korean President Lee Jae-myung met with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba in Tokyo on Saturday. Both leaders agreed to closer security and economic ties ahead of Lee's planned summit with the US President on Monday. On Lee's first official visit to Japan since taking office in June, Lee and Ishiba also discussed closer security cooperation with the United States under a trilateral pact signed by their successors.
The development of stable relations between our countries benefits both countries and also the entire region. I also believe that strengthening cooperation between Japan, South Korea and the United States is extremely important. I'm very happy to be able to share this view with the President.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is hopeful of improving Moscow's relations with Washington, saying there was light at the end of the tunnel in respect of their relations and that the two countries were discussing joint projects in the Arctic and Alaska. Putin visited the town of Sarov on Friday, where one of Russia's key nuclear weapons enterprises is located. During his visit, Putin toured an exhibition about scientific and educational infrastructure in closed cities. Both Russia and the United States have said that they see enormous economic opportunities if they can normalize relations after ties plunged to a post-Cold War low because of the conflict in Ukraine. At a press conference following the visit, Putin said he was sure that US President Donald Trump's leadership qualities would help in restoring relations from recent lows.
I really hope that the first steps that have been taken are just the beginning of a full-scale restoration of our relations. This doesn't depend on us. It depends on our Western partners, first of all, in the wider sense, because the US are bound by certain obligations in various associations, including the North Atlantic Bloc. Therefore, the next steps now depend on the leadership of the United States. But I'm certain that the leadership qualities of the current president, President Trump, are a good guarantee that relations will be restored. And I hope that the pace of our joint work on these grounds will continue.
North Korea's state television on Friday broadcast footage showing North Korean soldiers fighting Ukrainian troops in Russia's Kursk region. Footage showed North Korean soldiers advancing through snow-covered battlefields, maneuvering through ruined buildings and overturned vehicles as they fire artillery and launch missiles. From late October, North Korean troops began arriving in the Kursk region to fight alongside Russia under a mutual defense pact agreed between President Putin and Kim Jong-un. An earlier North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, presided over a series of events honoring soldiers who were killed while fighting for Russia. Kim also decorated returning soldiers and consoled children of the bereaved with hugs. He lauded the country's heroic troops who fought for Russia. Talking about diplomacy around Russia-Ukraine conflict, US President Donald Trump needs 2 weeks to gauge progress made in talks with after his summit with Russian President in Alaska. Trump has also raised the prospect of imposing sanctions on Moscow. He was unhappy about Russia's strike on an American factory in Ukraine this week, which caused a fire that injured some of the facility's employees. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, meanwhile, said on Friday that Russia was doing everything it could to prevent a meeting between him and Putin, while Russia's foreign minister said that the agenda for such a meeting was not ready yet. Trump has taken sanctions off the table in preparing for his summit in Anchorage with Putin. But at the same White House event where he mentioned possible sanctions, he showed a photograph of his meeting with Putin on a red carpet in Alaska, saying Putin wanted to attend the World Cup 2026 soccer tournament, which is being held in the United States.
I'm not happy about it, and I'm not happy about anything having to do with that. But we'll see what happens. I think in 2 weeks we'll know which way I'm going, because I'm going to go one way or the other, and they'll learn which way I'm going. Well, then I'm going to make a decision as to what we do, and it's going to be a very important decision, and that's whether or not it's massive sanctions or massive tariffs or both, or do we do nothing and say it's your fight.
India's Postal Department has taken note of the executive order issued by US administration on the 30th of July, under which duty-free D- exemption for goods valued up to $800 will be withdrawn with effect from the 29th of August. In view of the above, the Department of Posts had decided to temporarily suspend booking of all types of postal articles destined for the United States with effect from the 25th of this month, except letters or documents and gift items up to $100 in value. These exempt categories will continue to be accepted and conveyed to the US, subject to further clarifications from the Customs and Border Protection and US States Postal Service. The 3-day Khelo India Water Sports Festival concluded at the iconic Dal Lake in Jammu and Kashmir on Saturday, with Madhya Pradesh leading the tally with 18 medals. Odisha finished second with 10 medals, followed by Kerala with 7 medals. Hosts Jammu and Kashmir bagged the 7th position with a gold, silver and bronze. Mohsin Ali won the gold medal for 1000 meters men's kayaking event. Over 400 athletes competed for 24 medals from the 21st to the 23rd of this month. The tournament featured 6 sports like rowing, canoeing, kayaking, water skiing, shikara race and the dragon boat race. With the services team not participating this time around, the focus was on states like Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Kerala, which have produced strong water sports athletes. India's Ela Velenwala Riven and Arjun Babuta clinched the gold medal in the air rifle mixed team event at the Asian Shooting Championship in Kazakhstan on Saturday. After topping the qualification round, the Indian duo defeated China's Lu Dingke and Shinulu Peng with a score of 17-11 at the Shymkent city. This was the second gold medal for both players in the championships. The air rifle events came to an end at the edition of the championships, with India winning 3 out of 5 available gold medals. India's tally has reached 11 medals with 4 gold, 1 silver and 6 bronze. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from across the world on DD India's mobile app. Scan the QR codes that you see on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amritpal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Have a good day. Bye-bye.